I'm Jewish. I don't know.
Hey, yeah, I'm Jewish too.
Yeah, I don't know any church songs.
It's not about knowing church songs, it's about knowing how to shout. All you gotta do is know how to shout, and you'll be good.
That was mad loud. Everybody thought you was a crazy man right there.
I'm just feeling the Lord.
Sometimes you just everybody thought you
I think about that sometimes.
Now they eliminated. That's what Skip trying to do. Go ahead, Nate.
Okay, and then when do you want to stop? When? All right, who's gonna cue me for when we need to stop playing? Okay. All right. So. Five seconds. Start. So you gonna be in there?
We're actually starting. It feels like another rehearsal.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody to BTV. Can we get a round of applause for our band, Romel and the Assembly? My name is Kobe Stump, and I will be your host for tonight's episode, and what an episode it is gonna be. We have a varied mix of fantastic correspondents from all around UC campus, covering the latest in music, sports, and movies, along with two incredible interviews. One with the African American Cultural Resource Center, and another with the Rogue Writers of UC. Kicking us off tonight is What's Poppin' with Arsh and Layla.
Hi guys, this is Layla and Arsh, and our segment is What's Poppin', and guess what we did last night?
We saw Black
Panther!
Okay, honestly, so when we first went, we thought we were going to be getting these amazing looking tickets. We thought they were going to look like this. On the back is just like a list of all the characters and like a picture of all the characters. But instead, we got those booty looking regular people tickets. I was literally so sick. But anyways, the movie was great regardless.
It was right. This doesn't matter. The movie was amazing.
Fantastic.
It's like minorities.
Excellence, all of that. But anyways, take a sneak peek right now.
Panther lives.
Okay, wow. Like, okay, even from the movie, I thought the Kendrick Lamar album was going to be heavily prevalent throughout the whole entire movie, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
They had a lot of the instrumental in the movie, but they actually didn't play a lot of the actual songs.
They didn't, yeah. No, it was instrumental, but it was spread out throughout the movie, and
But one thing that they did do, they had a lot of African music throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And, like, just in general, they had a lot of African culture throughout the whole... They did a really, really good job, actually, through, like, keeping it authentic with African culture. From the clothing to the music.
Makeup.
And
the crown. That was beautiful.
It was literally amazing. But if you had to pick a favorite song from the album, what would it be?
Oh, my favorite song is King's Dead. Absolutely. And, like, the ending...
So you just don't take my favorite song.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But, no, at the ending, it's like, it'll get you hyped up. It's just really...
No, I was so mad because I thought they were going to play King's Dead at specific parts that I saw from the trailer, but they did not.
Yeah.
It's whatever. But anyways, who was your favorite character?
My favorite character is Lupita's character, which is Nakia. And the reason why I like her is because it's very, like, women empowering. And it's not like she had to choose between her love interest and the country. She picks the country. And I thought that was amazing.
That was another thing. One thing they did throughout the movie, they did not focus on love interest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in the movie, obviously, because in any movie, you're going to have, like, a love interest to keep it interesting. But that's not what the movie was about. It was a very small part within the whole grand scheme
it was
of
more
things.
love for the country, more love for the African culture, and I think that was amazing.
I think my favorite character would have to be Michael B. Jordan.
She loves him.
I had actually never seen him in any other movies, but when I saw him in this, he did amazing. Like, just his character portrayal was... He's an underdog in the movie. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. From the very beginning, he was done dirty. To the very end, he was done dirty. But honestly, that was my favorite character, just all in general.
And I feel like all he needed was some therapy and some...
He needed some therapy, some love, a little bit of counseling,
right.
And I think homie would have been fine.
Right.
They literally did him so dirty throughout the whole...
Right.
I just kid. They did him so dirty throughout the whole movie.
Exactly.
But anyways, I don't know. If I had to pick a second favorite character, I'm about to butcher his name. Daniel. We practiced this.
Yeah.
Kalaya.
Yeah.
I think it's Daniel Kalaya. If you haven't seen him, he's in Get Out too. He was the main character. He did a phenomenal job as well. I really loved his character.
Yep. And also, I just want to mention that the army is like women. Like for the country, like who's fighting and stuff is just women, and that's very empowering.
They had a very, very, very good job of like black power, black excellence, women excellence. They touched on so many different topics.
Absolutely.
And also, what else would I talk about regarding the women? Just in general, they did a very good job.
Very good job. Yes, absolutely. So, what else is like your favorite part of the movie?
See, I don't want to say because I don't want to give anything specific away, but one of my favorite parts would have been with Michael B. Jordan. But anyways, you're really just going to have to go see the movie and find out what you like for yourself.
Yeah, and I think the album is amazing. Album goes really well with the movie, and just a really, really good put together. Yeah. All right, so if you haven't seen Black Panther yet, now is the time. Get your tickets before they're sold out, and make sure you take your friends and family.
Maybe you'll get one of these tickets. Probably
Hopefully
not. You're going to get one of those.
This, but, you know, it's still pretty amazing.
Thank you, Arsh and Layla. And now, courtesy of your undergraduate student. Here is a 1-minute update about government. Particularly what is happening in student government. Student government is currently working with library staff to extend upper-level floor hours during midterm and finals week. UFB-funded student organizations should submit budgets as soon as possible. There's less than $50,000 left to allocate. We hope to get more funding transferred to UFB, but make sure to get them in sooner, rather than later to secure funding. Revolution UC will be presenting a hackathon March 3rd through the 4th. Check out revolutionuc.com for more information. You can expect microwaves to be installed in Teachers Dyer Hall, and CCM Tribunal is currently working on getting water bottle filling stations installed in CCM. Student government elections start this Monday, with voting starting at 8 a.m. You can vote for one presidential slate and up to 8 at-large senators. Keep an eye open for candidates on campus and events such as the diversity debate. Voting ends at noon on March 2nd, with the reveal that evening. If you're interested in getting involved with student government, reach out to any member of student government about college tribunals or committees. You can also submit suggestions at ucstudentgov.com under the Student Input tab. We're always looking to hear your thoughts. Remember, student government works for you. And rolling right along with tonight's show, move over Super Bowl and Olympics, we have the real sports events of the year with Keiko-Rama, hosted by Jamila Flowers.
Hey everyone, I'm Jamila Flowers, your host, and welcome to Keiko-Rama. I'm standing here with 3 amazing contestants who are ready to share their greatest inspirations through cake decorations. They'll show off their best decorating skills on these blank canvases, also known as cake. So let's meet our contestants. What's your name?
My name is Miska. I'm Taylor.
And let's go over here to our third contestant.
I'm Darius.
Okay, so what do you think will be your greatest inspiration in designing this cake?
My family life.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. Taylor?
Some pictures I saw on Google.
Okay, and let's go over to our first contestant one more time.
I'm just going to freestyle. Freestyle it, work it out, you know.
Alrighty, well, our contestants will have the entire show to work on their cakes, and then one winner will be crowned the king or queen of Keiko-Rama.
Thank you, Jamila. We'll be checking back in on Jamila and our Keiko-Rama contestants as the show goes on to see their progress, so be sure to stick around to see how it all ends. Now, I'm sitting here with Chris Grove from Rogue Riders of UC, who's been grateful enough to take time out of his busy schedule to have a little chit-chat with us. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Kobe.
Tell me, what is Rogue Riders?
So Rogue Riders is the creative writing club at UC. We just started it last spring, so we just hit our 1-year anniversary mark. And you've been coming for this whole year, which has been great. It's been excellent. So we focus mainly on just kind of getting together, discussing writing, talking about writing, and then doing writing actually as well. So, you know, as with you, you don't have to be an English major or a writing major to participate. We actually encourage people from other majors, other colleges to come if they have, you know, if they have any interest in writing, if they love stories, if they just want to come hang out with us. And we also have a pretty heavy focus on workshopping pieces. So, you know, if you have an essay that you need to write for intermediate composition, we can help you with that. You know, whether it's just brainstorming and coming up with ideas or helping you edit it. But the real bread and butter of the club is creative writing, about finding your own style and just running with it.
Awesome. You said you're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the club got started?
Yeah, so I was here for my freshman year, and I was in writing classes, and I just wasn't making a lot of writing friends. I had friends, but they were kind of all over campus. And so me and Katerina Nians, the president and co-founder, we just kind of were hanging out one day and just kind of talking about it. And we were like, let's just start a club. Like, we were trying to look for something, and nothing really kind of struck our interest. So we decided to do a little bit of like surveying to see if people would be interested in it, and we got an overwhelming response of people who would be interested in something like that. So we picked it up and we ran with it. We just started meeting and kept talking to people in our classes, talking to professors, and it's now become a weekly thing. So
awesome. Moving kind of a bit more of a broad, I don't know, existential question, I guess. Why do you think writing is so important?
Well, writing is, how we communicate anymore. We use our words, obviously, with our mouth to speak person to person most times, but, especially with the advent of the internet and social media and texting, the written word has become more important than ever. And even if you think about the advent of the written language, the Greeks, when they first got their alphabet and started writing, the first thing they wrote down were stories. The first thing they wrote down was their mythology, and from that mythology came stories like the Odyssey and the Aeneid, between all the Greco-Roman civilizations. And it's still true today. I mean, you look at the impact that, something like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings has had, and they're stories. There's something that someone sat down and wrote. And people learn just as much about life through reading and writing as they do by going out and viscerally experiencing life,
How do you think writing and joining the writing club, Rogue Writers, could affect a UC student's life?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely, we've seen it have a positive impact on students' lives in college and out of college already. We encourage people to find their own voice, to find their own style in terms of writing and in its craft. But we also encourage people to really use this opportunity to better themselves as people and get more comfortable with themselves. We have a pretty strict policy about negativity in there. I mean, you can talk about negative things, and obviously in writing there's going to be conflict, but anything that could be perceived as directly offensive to anybody, we absolutely kind of snuff out before it becomes an issue. And it's kind of like a safe space. It's a comfortable place for people to come and just be themselves and enjoy writing and experience writing and better themselves that way. And so,
if someone were to walk into Rogue Writers, having never really known anything about writing before, what is the one thing you want them to learn there?
That's a really good question. I would just want them to learn how to express themselves. And I think writing is a great way to do that, especially for people who are really shy or, have social anxiety, or just, have always been a little too, I don't want to say scared, but I guess scared to, experience something like that. So I want them to learn how to express themselves in a way that is comfortable and suitable for them.
What sort of plans do you have for Rogue Writers in the coming months?
We actually have a fair amount of stuff happening in the coming months. In March, the beginning of March, a group of us are actually going to be attending the AWP Writing Conference down in Tampa. So that's going to be a really fun trip. We're going to go and actually, experience a writing conference and, meet agents and publishers and other writers and do a lot of networking. So that's going to be fun. In addition to that, we're also publishing a student-produced literary journal. So pretty much all you have to do is come to Rogue Writers Clubs or writers meetings, and if you want to submit a piece, and we'll look at it. And we wanted that to have a way for young amateur writers to have an outlet for their creativity in terms of writing. And in conjunction with that, we're also working with the Society of Composers Incorporated through CCM, and we're producing an album. They've composed all the music, and we've done all of the lyrics and words, whether it's going to be a spoken word piece or sung. So those two projects, the journal and the album, are going to be coming out about the end of April. So that's what we have right now, and those are going to be kind of yearly things in addition to that. We're just kind of seeing what opportunities come our way.
And then finally, how could a student on UC join?
Oh, just by showing up to meetings. I mean, we meet every Tuesday at 6 p.m. in the McMicken Study Lounge, room 34, and we encourage everyone to come and join and see what it's about. I mean, we've had people come to one meeting. We've had people who've stumbled into the meeting and just kind of happen to be there, and they are there all the time now. So, just come and see what it's about, and if it's for you, awesome. If not, no hard feelings.
Awesome. Thank you again to Chris Groh. If you're interested in Rogue Writers, they meet every Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. in McMicken 034. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to sit down with Adam Hesselbrock, and he's going to tell us all about what's new in music. See you in a tick.
night to game over. Pass the remote controller, babe. It's a night to game over. I'm doing what I'm supposed to, babe. It's a night to game over. A smile looks immaculate on you. Bring your lips to red or over. I'm saying I'm singing it. Singing if you got shit and if not to game over. Pass the remote controller, baby. Singing it's a night to game over. I'm doing what I'm supposed to, baby. You're saying that you love me. Is you gon' be there when the liquor's gone? Cry until the early morn. That you love me. Is you gon' be there when the liquor's gone? Cry until the early morn. It's a night to game over. Pass the remote control. It's a night to game over. Pass the remote controller, babe. It's a night to game over. I'm doing what I'm supposed to, babe. It's a night to game over. A smile looks immaculate on you. Bring your lips to red or over. I'm saying I'm singing it. Singing if you got shit and if not to game over. Pass the remote controller, baby. Singing it's a night to game over. I'm doing what I'm supposed to, baby. You're saying that you love me. Is you gon' be there when the liquor's gone? Cry until the early morn. That you love me. Is you gon' be there when the liquor's gone? Cry until the early morn. It's a night to game over. Pass the remote controller, baby. The smile looks immaculate on you. I'm saying I'm singing it. Singing if you got shit and if not to game over. Pass the remote controller, baby. Singing it's a night to game over. I'm doing what I'm supposed to, baby. Singing it's a night to game, yeah. It's a night to game, yeah. It's a night to game over. Singing it's a night to game, yeah. It's a night to game, yeah. It's a night to game over, baby.
To BTV. I'm now joined by our wonderful music correspondent, Adam Hesselbrock.
Hey guys, up next we have your music news for this week. More new music is going to be coming our way as 30 Seconds to Mars is coming out with their new album in April. And although it hasn't been announced yet, both Sarah Bareilles and Troye Sivan are expected to drop an album sometime this year. The Super Bowl halftime show was a few weeks ago, featuring Justin Timberlake. Although his Man of the Woods tour won't bring him to Cincinnati, he will be performing at the Nationwide Arena up in Columbus. As I mentioned before, we have many artists coming to the Cincinnati area, such as New Politics, Gaelic Storm, Judah and the Lion, Miguel, Moon Taxi, and All Time Low. We're only 2 months into 2018, and I'm excited to see what the rest of the year brings for music.
Thank you, Adam. I'm sure that just about any of the music talked about can be found on Spotify. I'm not sponsored by Spotify or anything. I just really like Spotify. On a completely different note, to distract you from my corporate shilling, we are now joined by Alex Frank with the latest in UC sports and the Winter Olympics. Alex?
Thanks, Kobe. Good evening, everybody. I am Alex Frank. The Cincinnati Bearcats have returned home from their Texas two-step, but last night they saw their 16-game winning streak come to an end as they suffered their first loss in conference play to the hands of the Houston Cougars. The Bearcats entered last night's matchup ranked number 5 in the nation and 3 games up on the second-place Cougars in the American Athletic Conference standings. They got off to a good start last night as they led 19-8 just over 8 minutes into the game. But just as they did to Houston the first time the two teams played this season, the Cougars mounted a comeback in this one and had the game within 3 points at halftime. In the second half, Houston used rebounding and three-point shooting to take a 52-50 lead with 3:32 to play. Houston's defense also played a role by holding the Bearcats without a basket for nearly 12 minutes and held off a late Cincinnati rally for the 67-62 win. The Bearcats return home Sunday looking to win their 40th consecutive home game when they take on the 19th-ranked Wichita State Shockers. Elsewhere in UC sports, the women's basketball team has gotten back on the winning track with back-to-back wins over Wichita State and Tulane. Last Saturday, the Bearcats returned home to take on Tulane and used a 24-8 second quarter to cruise to an 83-52 win. Junior guard Nakira Goings continued her torrid comeback from her injury by scoring 15 points in the win. But head coach Jamel Elliott indicated after the game that she isn't even back to full strength yet. Having had the previous 6 days off hopefully allowed her to get back to 100% ahead of tomorrow's matchup against Tulsa at 2 p.m. at St. Ursula Academy. The women's lacrosse team opened its season last Friday at UC's Gettler Stadium by taking on the Louisville Cardinals. Despite being on the losing end of a 15-9 final, the Bearcats did show their ability to respond to adversity. After falling behind 11-4 at halftime, the Bearcats came out re-energized in the second half and outscored the Cardinals 5-4. They also outshot the Cardinals 13-9 over the final 30 minutes. Tonight they are in Boiling Springs, South Carolina to take on Gardner-Webb as part of a 2-game road trip that will end in Rock Hill, South Carolina, with them taking on Winthrop Sunday at noon. Track and field has been enjoying a record-breaking indoor season this winter as numerous athletes have cracked the all-time top 10 in several events. Last weekend, both the men's and women's teams competed in the Music City Challenge at Vanderbilt University, where 3 school records were broken. The women's 4x400 relay team of Tiana Lattimore, Haysha Bisiolu, Deanna Gisecki, and Brianna Robinson ran a time of 3 minutes and 36.96 seconds to become the first relay team in UC history to run under 3:40 indoors. Austin Edwards equaled the top time in UC history in the 60-meter dash by running a time of 6.78 seconds, and in the field, Brooke Catherine set her personal record in pole vault by clearing 4.26 meters, which is also a school record. Her achievement also moves her into the top 20 nationally. This weekend, both teams are sending a select few group of athletes to the Buckeye Tune-Up at The Ohio State University before the entire teams compete in the American Athletic Conference Indoor Championships next week in Birmingham, Alabama. It's also a great time to be an American as our nation's athletes have been competing in the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Numerous athletes have won gold medals, including Jamie Anderson and Red Gerard winning gold in the slopestyle, and Chloe Kim and Shaun White winning gold in the halfpipe. Tonight, it's the highly anticipating return of women's alpine skier Lindsey Vonn as she makes her 2018 Winter Olympic debut at 9 Eastern Time on NBC in the Women's Super G. It is her first Olympic race since 2010 in Vancouver. For now, be good to yourself, everybody.
Thank you, Alex. Now, we've just had a power duo of correspondents covering music and sports, but we're going to shift gears and switch back to Jamila for an update on Keiko Rama.
Hey everyone, everyone, we are back again. It's Jamila here with our Cakeorama contestants. As you can see, they are all hard at work, focusing to make sure that everything is just right. So let's check in on them. How's it going?
It's going great.
Okay. Taylor?
I think I'm creating something good here. I think I'm coming up with something good here.
Okay. Let's go check in on Darius.
I decided to write a note to my missing father. It says, "Dear father, come home. I can make you," I tried to write proud, but it didn't really fit. But yeah.
Okay, I really like how you're bringing your heart and soul into this. It's really going to show out in your work. So, we can see all of our contestants are doing pretty well right now. We'll come back later to check on them another time. Back to you, Colby.
Thank you, Jamila. I'm looking forward to seeing the results of the contestants' work. Here with me now is Emily Wilhelm from the News Record to give us an update on the happenings of UC. Emily?
Good evening. I'm Emily Wilhelm here for the News Record segment of Bearcast TV. Valentine's Day was Wednesday, so of course we had to ask some UC students if they planned on doing anything special. What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
Absolutely nothing.
This year is Valentine's Day with the bros. We're all going out to get dinner together. Maybe exchange some gifts if it gets a little freaky.
I'm planning on taking my girlfriend out, surprising her, and probably going out to Chewy's.
I'm going to go home, take a bath, and hang out with my service dog all night. And that's about it.
Valentine's Day, or are still looking for the perfect gift for that someone special, there are many ways to do so while also giving back. Red Online Shop is one easy way to do this. Every profit made from every purchase on Red goes to the Global Fund to fight AIDS. There's also One Hope Wine, a company that sells wine to support various organizations. For every 2 cases of California Chardonnay sold, One Hope sponsors a clinical trial for a woman with breast cancer. And speaking of giving back, volunteering at the UC Bearcat Pantry is always a great way to help UC students in need. We stopped in on Monday to get a glimpse of how volunteering for the pantry works. Graduate assistant Rachel Roseman showed us the ropes.
Our goal at the pantry is we're trying to reduce food insecurity among our UC students. So that's like our big overarching goal. We also follow up with those students later and kind of see what other services they could need.
Rachel says the pantry has at least 40 regular volunteers who are dedicated to the cause. She and the rest of the Bearcat Pantry team hope the organization and its number of volunteers continue to grow. If you're interested in volunteering, you can contact them at their email, ucbearcats1819care. Students are still talking about the exciting Super Bowl game that resulted in the Philadelphia Eagles' first ever Super Bowl win. Here's what a few UC students had to say about the game. So what were your plans for the Super Bowl?
I actually just went over to my girlfriend's friend's house to watch the Super Bowl with a lot of people that I didn't really know.
I went to my friend's house. We made some buffalo chicken dip. We got all the appetizers. And
I just hung out with friends and ate Chipotle and watched the game and the halftime show.
What were your reactions to the Super Bowl?
I was really excited to see Philadelphia take it.
I was really happy the Patriots lost.
Well, I was really happy about it. I like to see Tom Brady lose.
I'm really upset that the Patriots lost. I'm a Tom Brady fan because I'm from Michigan.
What's your favorite part of the Super Bowl?
I'd say the commercials are probably one of my favorite besides the gameplay.
I just like all the fans and like how energetic they are and like all the support that they give their teams.
Obviously the football, however, I have to say the commercials are always invigorating. It's a very good way to showcase problems and also celebrate the themes and ideologies of America.
For our next story, I got to see how a couple of Clifton restaurant managers feel about FC Cincinnati moving away from Clifton. It's been a crazy month of FC Cincinnati news, or lack thereof, with an MLS bid and stadium location still not confirmed. There's been talk of a stadium in Newport, Oakley, and the West End. Nevertheless, if FCC gets a bid, they'll be moving somewhere and taking their fans and business with them. If you've ever walked down Calhoun Street on an FC Cincinnati game day, you can't deny that the club brings big business to Clifton's local establishments. DeBella's general manager, Matt Hoops, says the restaurant is always busy on game days.
On a normal night without FC, we'll do like $300. But when FC does play, we do anywhere from like $1,000 to $2,000.
Hoops says he'll be sad to see them go if the time comes.
It will be a big loss for our business here.
Keystone catering manager TJ Holton says he'll miss the business they bring too.
If they move, that's going to be a real hit to us, especially during game times.
But he has plans to keep them coming back to Keystone.
We're going to do some watch parties here, get people in, make sure we still keep our FC crowd.
It's a waiting game for Cincinnati to see where FCC will go, but Hoops and Holton seem ready to face the unknown. For the News Record, I'm Emily Wilhelm.
Now, here's David Wysong with Bearcat Sports News.
The University of Cincinnati men's basketball team jumped up to number 5 in the Associated Press Top 25 rankings this week, their highest ranking since the 2001-2002 season. UC head coach Mick Cronin said the guys have been good at staying focused despite all the accolades they've been getting.
You know, they've been great about it so far. We watch a lot of film. We try not to focus on the results. We try to focus on improvement. I remind them all that they're broke, that none of them have achieved their goal playing professional basketball and earning their degrees, so they got to continue to work towards their degree and work towards being a professional. Obviously, we haven't achieved any of our goals yet as a team, so I remind them of that. But we do a lot of self-scouting just throughout the winning streak to try to stay focused on our
As he discussed the process of building this year's team, Cronin also talked about how he and his staff have been lucky how this group of guys have come together all at once.
College coaching, the hardest thing about it is you build your business and then you get people learn how to be productive, and then they leave your company, they graduate, you start over again. So it's just having it all come together at once is what you need to be a great team. Even force it this way.
The Bearcats play number 19 Wichita State Sunday at 4 p.m. For updates, follow along at newsrecord.org and on Twitter at newsrecord_UC. For the News Record, I'm David Wysong.
Now, I've just gotten some news that we have a surprise guest, a dog. Please give a warm welcome to two very special guests, Chenille and Shaylin from Four Paws. So, Shaylin, tell us about Chenille. How old, what breed is she, all that stuff?
Chenille is a service dog in training through Four Paws for Ability, and she is a 9-month-old Golden Retriever and Newfoundland mix.
Fantastic. You said she's with Four Paws. What is Four Paws? Can you kind of lay that all out for us?
Four Paws for Ability is a nonprofit organization. They're located in Xenia, Ohio, and they train service dogs for children and veterans with disabilities.
Awesome. Can you tell us about how you got involved?
So last year when I was a freshman, I saw a lot of people walking around on campus with the dogs, and I noticed, and I've always had a love for animals, and I thought it was really something I wanted to get involved with to give back to the community.
Sounds like having a love for animals is really important for this.
Yeah.
But do you think there's any challenges you faced in having a service dog?
Yeah, it's definitely, obviously we're all college students, so it's a lot of work balancing your classes, a tough schedule, and then you always got to think of, you have to let a dog out, you have to feed the dog, just a bunch of little things. There's a lot of little sacrifices, but it's worth it.
What do you think have been some of your favorite moments so far with Chenille?
Chenille visited one of our girls who's on a list to get a dog next year. She went to Cincinnati Children's Hospital. She just had brain surgery. So she got to go to Cincinnati Children's and got to help her out with her physical therapy and occupational therapy, and it just made her day, and it was just a really cool experience.
Do you have any advice for students who've been thinking about fostering a dog through Four Paws?
Yeah, I definitely say it's so worth it. So if you want to apply, it's all online on their website, and it's definitely worth it. It's really rewarding.
Thank you, Chenille, and thank you, Shaylin, and thank you, Chenille. We're going to take another short break, but when we're back, we'll be sitting down with Shaumia Turner from the African American Culture Resource Center for a special interview. Stay tuned.
I'm Madeline Stefanik. I'm a second-year e-media major, fine arts minor.
I do a lot of portrait drawing and painting and commission design work, and I just started selling some screen prints of my work. And I also sell Cleveland t-shirts and stickers because I'm from Cleveland, and that's kind of how it all got started. I have always known I probably was going to be an artist. I remember being in I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and my art teacher in grade school told my mom that I was going to be an artist, and I thought she was crazy. But I did it anyways. It just happened. I spend a lot of my time in DAP because I have one of my classes in DAP, and then I just love being in this atmosphere where people are creating and there's lots of artwork around. It's really inspiring. If I'm not here in the studio making artwork, I'm in my apartment just messing around in my room. I think that mainly I cater to people who are fans of the same music as me, which is interesting. I noticed that is where a lot of my following sort of comes from, and then I guess I make art that's kind of inspired by the music that I like, and those people join on and kind of enjoy it as well. For the past 3 years, it's been commission-based, I'd say, but actually really recently, probably within the last month, I've been able to sell things that I made without the purpose of catering to someone, which is really great because that's kind of what I want to eventually do. I want to not have to do so many commissions to keep the business going and maybe just sell work that comes from me directly, because it's a lot more fulfilling as an artist. I know a lot of people feel like that. The platforms I use to sell my work, usually I started out with Etsy, which is really, really helpful because they don't take a lot of the money from you when you make a sale. That's how I started selling the Cleveland t-shirts and Cleveland stickers and various smaller things that I've made over the years. But more recently, I kind of just put it out there and people come to me, which is really great and it's a lot easier. And then I just use Venmo or Etsy to kind of get the money, do the transaction. Instagram is definitely super helpful. Just people, I can put something up and people contact me. I think the best advice I can think of for somebody who's looking to start a business maybe is to find what they're passionate about, because it's totally not going to work if you don't like what you're doing.
Back to BTV, I'm Kobe Stump, and I'm sitting here with Shaumia Turner from the African American Cultural Resource Center, who's here to talk with us. Shaumia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Just fine. Can you start this off by just telling everyone what is the African American Cultural Resource Center?
So the African American Cultural Resource Center is a center that basically is surrounding in love for Black culture. It emphasizes with different programs, with resources for financial aid. It could be resources for grad advisory, social settings. We have a host of programs that comes out of it, like transitions, which is for freshmen who are transitioning from high school to college, based as well, and they have mentorship programs. So it's a big place of love.
Something I've heard when people talk about AACRC is Miss Kwamka.
Yes.
Can you kind of fill me in on what that is?
So Miss Kwamka, I was Miss Kwamka 2017, and essentially, you are the liaison for diversity and inclusion on campus. So when it comes to race relations, as well as bridging the gap between UC students and UC staff with the surrounding communities like Avondale, Walnut Hills, you are a liaison and you get to actually execute out a platform that is a community-based platform to fulfill those purposes of Mr. and Mrs. Kwamka.
What was your platform when you...
So my platform is called The Body Project, which is a movement that combats issues pertaining to self-image and self-esteem among teenage girls by cultivating their minds, valuing their bodies, and uplifting their souls. So with The Body Project, it's actually now becoming a nonprofit because it was a passion of mine before I actually ran. But essentially, every week I meet with a group of teenage girls and we have different subject matters, a leadership team, and we mentor them and grant them resources on UC's campus so they'll have access on a college university.
Awesome.
Thank you.
What are some of the other events that AACRC runs throughout the year?
So the AACRC hosts a lot of things. The first thing you're going to see when you walk in is when we have a Kwaba, which is which is a Swahili term for welcome, and that's the Black Student Welcome, and that's for freshmen and transfer students. We'll also have, for graduation, Taimba, which is like a minority graduation. So you'll see a lot of Turner scholars. You'll see a lot of people who are very active in the AACRC apply for like a smaller graduation where you can see a little bit more of your family. You'll have African dance and a host of cultural events. Definitely Kuamka is a full week pageant. It's not just a day. So throughout the week, you'll have a host of events outside of like the Q&A, of course, and the interviews and everything. They'll have a skate party, and of course, they'll have the big ball. And that's where we'll have the rites of passage ceremony with the freshmen who are in the program transitions in base. And essentially, we'll be passing on like that rites of passage for them to emerge as new leaders. In our Kujifanza ceremony as well, which we actually highlight Black excellence when it comes to the classroom with your academics with 3.0s and higher.
Do you have any special events for February for Black History Month?
So we actually are wrapping up Black Love Week. So I'm also a part of the AACRC choir, and we just did our Seasons of Love concert on Wednesday. UBSA just did a program as well, just for the general body to kind of get to know what UBSA is. The Black Association of Journalists, they just did a program for Black people in media, just talking about positions and what that looks like as a minority, as a Black person in media within this week. Also, you know, the opening ceremony for World Fest is coming up, so the AACRC will be tabling for that event at the end of the month.
So clearly the AACRC does a whole lot around campus.
Absolutely.
What sort of effects have you seen it have on students?
So not just on students, but for myself personally, I can definitely say being a transfer student at the University of Cincinnati, they have granted exposure for myself and for a lot of other students as well when it comes to getting us acclimated with our faculty and staff on campus, making sure that we're on top of our grades, making sure that we are developing and emerging as not only campus leaders, but community leaders as well, and definitely embracing Black culture. I was able to go to the spring break tour, and a lot of the students who get to go, it's about 45 students, 50 students a year who get to go and experience other universities and what they do to actually bring culture and exude culture within our UC campus. So it's definitely great to see so many students who are able to develop as leaders, but also find a place that feels like home.
If there was only one thing, the biggest thing that the AACRC could do for students, the biggest effect they could have on students, what do you think you would want that to be?
I'll definitely say making sure that we recognize issues pertaining to race relations on our campus and off. Also making sure that students are aware of their resources around campus, whether it's learning centers, whether it's making sure that they have what they need in their day-to-day basis. I definitely would say making sure those areas are highlighted.
If a student has like never really been a part of the AACRC, what could they do to start getting involved with it all?
Just walk right in. It's an open door policy. From the early in the morning, they usually are open around 9 o'clock. Unless there's a program, they usually close around 5, but there's usually a program. But just walk right in, ask questions. Miss Benita and Aaron will be right at the door, welcome you with open arms. And actually, if you hit up the website, just type in African American Culture and Resource Center, UC, and it'll pull right up with a calendar of events that may occur. And you'll also see it at the AACRC, which is connected to 60 West Charlton, with a full screen running through all of our events and programs that we host.
The role that you've had at the AACRC, how do you think that role and those responsibilities have affected you as a student?
It definitely forced me to balance myself as a leader and as a student, making sure that I am focusing on my academics and excelling in my books, but also making sure that as people are pouring into me, I'm able to pour into others. So I'll definitely say that's the greatest effect that the AACRC has on myself, but also for other students as well.
And one final question.
Absolutely.
How can students contact the center?
Absolutely. If you just go on the AACRC website, you'll actually have at the bottom of the page the direct phone number as well as their email address. Or you can follow us on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat, any social media, and just type in AACRC and it will pop right up.
Fantastic. Thank you again for talking to us,
No
Shaumia.
problem.
We're going to swing back over to Jamila, where the Cake-O-Rama contestants are about to finish up their creations. Jamila?
Oh, we are just about out of time at Cake-O-Rama. I'm Jamila Flowers, and I'm here with our lovely contestants who will stop working on their creative cake designs in 3, 2, 1. Okay, put down your decorating tools. And let's see what our final products look like. Okay, so are you guys happy with your designs?
I'm very happy with my design.
Taylor?
I suppose I'm content with it.
Okay. Darius?
I'm not really sure.
Alrighty. Well, what was the biggest problem that you guys faced during decorating time?
No problem at all. It was pretty easy. Smooth sailing.
Okay.
I kind of wish I had more tools, like to make those little flowery things, but I guess this will suffice.
Alrighty. Darius?
Trying to figure out what my father would want.
Alrighty. Well, you guys all did an incredible job, and these are all incredible designs. However, there can only be one winner, who I would love to announce right now. But we will have to wait for our off-screen panel of judges to decide before I can make that announcement. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the final winner, so stay tuned. Back to you.
The results, we're going to sit back and listen to Romel and the Assembly give us a special cover of Moanin'. give one more round of applause for Romel and the assembly. So it looks like the Cake-O-Rama judges have finished judging. So let's switch back over to Jamila one more time for the results.
Hey everyone, we have returned for the very last time to announce our winner. I'm Jamila and I have the final results right here. Our panel of judges decided, all right, to choose Darius as our winner. So we'll give him this #1 candle. And all of our contestants did a great job. And thanks to all of you at home for joining us on Cake-O-Rama. Congratulations again to our winner. Back to you.
Thank you, Jamila, and congratulations to Darius. Friends, I'm very sorry to say this, but we have unfortunately come to the end of our time here tonight at BTV. It's been an amazing experience hosting tonight's show, and getting to work with all the wonderful correspondents tonight has been absolutely amazing. I'd like to give you a special thank you to Shaumia Turner from the AACRC and Chris Grove from the Rogue Writers of UC for coming on to the show tonight, as well as to Romel and the Assembly for providing tonight's music. Most of all, thank you to everyone at home for watching us. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. We hope you'll join us again next month for our March show. Stay safe.